I'm Kat, an independent midwife from Wales. Welcome to the Mother of All Podcasts, where nothing is off the table of discussion. If it leaks, cries, swears, screams, goes up, but doesn't stay up, we're talking about it. It's time to get raw and real. Your no BS guide to pregnancy, preconception, birth, adolescence, wet dreams, wet in the bed, coming home pissed. Who knows? Whatever. We're just going to talk about it. Life in parenting doesn't come with a manual. Well, not a decent one anyway. So let's just create a podcast. Welcome to the Mother of All Podcasts. I don't even know where that come from.
That's good. That's good.
That's not even in it.
That's good.
Hello. Hi, Jess. How are you today?
Hi, I'm good, thank you.
Thank you for coming on. It's it's not a sensitive subject for us both at all, actually. I think we're both quite open to talking about it. Do you just want to introduce yourself and tell everyone how you know me?
Yep, so I'm Jess and I met Kat, it must have been like 2018, maybe?
Yeah.
At the Cardiff training camp ice skating, which was ridiculously intense. I'm not even gonna lie, it was wild. But it was a very surreal experience, and despite the fact I have a lot of feelings about skating now,
Yeah.
that is one thing I would most definitely do again, and it was a complete dream to spend that time with you.
Oh, that's so lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you. For those that don't know, I used to coach synchronized ice skating in my former life. Well, till about up till about 3 years ago. And as Jess said, that's how we met. She came to one of my training camps. I reached out to her to talk about her experience with eating disorders and her recovery. I've got a history of eating disorders myself. Firstly, anorexia, which then moved on to bulimia because it's easier to hide. When I talk about it, it's like talking about someone else. So I don't think that you ever fully recover, a bit like alcoholism. I think it's something you've got to live with for the rest of your life and put coping mechanisms in. Would you agree?
No, I wouldn't agree with that. I think that it is possible to fully recover and live completely free from an eating
Wow.
disorder.
I will be honest, I've never heard anyone say that. So I'm really interested in finding out how have you come to that place? Where have you come from with that?
So if I'd heard myself say that a couple of
Yeah.
years ago, I would have been like, what the actual fuck are you on about?
Yeah.
Um, it was meeting my private eating disorder therapist, former therapist now.
Mm.
She completely changed my life in so many ways. And even I literally feel like I could cry,
Go
even
for it.
just mentioning it, because it completely transformed my perception of so many things. I've battled with self-harm addiction, and that was something that I was like, I don't think I'm ever going to fully recover from that.
Yeah.
So I think there's so many avenues of this full recovery, and I think one of which is if you don't address the root cause, then you have this void that you're constantly trying to fill, and then you are at risk of a relapse because you haven't found ways to meet those needs in a more sustainable way, in a healthier way. And it's always going to be harder to use coping mechanisms and to meet those needs in a sustainable way, because ultimately self-destruction is an easier option than self-love. However, it is a neurological, it's scientifically proven that full recovery is possible because nobody's born with an eating disorder. It's learned. All of the disordered narratives are learned and they are reinforced constantly by diet culture. Everywhere you go, weight loss is praised, restriction is praised, over-exercising is praised, and it becomes impossible to fight an internal battle when external things are solidifying those beliefs. And when I first started recovery, Fiona was my former therapist.
Mm-hmm.
I hated her. I was like, what are you doing to me? You're ruining my life. You just want me to be fat. That was literally, they were my
Yeah.
words. And she was like, Jess, I just need you to trust me. I need you to trust the process. And I was like, that's all you've got? And she was like, please trust the process. And I was like, right, whatever. She is the first person I'd opened up to her about things I'd never said out loud before. So I thought, if there's anyone I trust in the world, it's you.
Yeah.
If you fuck me over,
I'm
I
done.
can't begin to tell you the revenge I
Yeah.
will be seeking. So anyway, um, I it was the repetition. We because she was an occupational therapist,
Okay. And this was
we did
private.
things.
Was it
Yeah,
okay?
we did things together. So we would challenge things together. I created a list of fear foods.
Yeah.
So fear foods being the foods that the ED convinces you are not safe.
Yeah. Triggers.
And that list can grow. I feel like the more you restrict, the more it feels necessary to restrict because the ED then learns that I can't explain. It's kind of like quite literally when your stomach shrinks, it gets harder to grow it
Of
again.
course.
And it's like it's that's kind of like the limitations that the ED has, that it gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. It's like you set this limit, and the limit is becomes something that is fatal because nothing's enough. It's
Yeah.
constantly more, more, more. You approach this goalpost and it moves it again. Just as you're approaching it, it's like, no, actually, not good enough. More,
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 more.
constantly. Once you're dead.
Yeah.
Um,
It's all about that limiting beliefs. So
yeah.
yeah, and I think you fascinated me already, by the way, and you've kind of changed my way of thinking. So maybe I'm not fully recovered for a reason. Weird. Um, Eating disorders, it's well known. It's all about perfection. I struggle to ever find out why I went down that road. Um, and oh God, I've gone through so years and years of therapy, and then you find a golden nugget and you're sorted forever. I do agree with you on that. But I saw a therapist, and I'll never forget what he said. He said, "Well, stop trying to find a reason, because you might find a reason, and then you're going to look for another one anyway." What did you ever get to the bottom of why you had ED?
So, what you're saying about perfectionism, I hear you completely, and that
Yeah.
was part of my development
Mm.
of anorexia. However, it's not the sole reason. And I think so many people with mental health in general, they try to break the stigma and inadvertently reverse it.
Yeah.
I hear so many people say eating disorders aren't a vanity issue. It doesn't start with body image. And it's like, okay, that might be true for
Yeah,
you,
but not for me.
but that can be a very real um, factor
Mm.
for developing an eating disorder, and that's only going to invalidate people whose
Your
eating disorders. Oh well,
feelings.
I've not really got an eating disorder. It's not that bad if eating disorders don't develop for that reason. It can be perfectionism, but it can also be a form of control.
Control. Yeah, huge.
Not being able to control anything else in your life except for that, but also that you, when you're restricting, you're so malnourished
Mm.
that you are numbing everything. You can't think straight. You can't feel properly. And it's the most counterintuitive thing because it also means that you can't regulate. And so these massive feelings that you're having, these irrational thoughts that you're having, you can't regulate them. You can't rationalize them. You completely lose that ability. And yet the ED is convincing you this is definitely the best way. This is how you have control over your emotions. And eating disorders in general are a massive contradiction of themselves. And when I began to unpack it, I was like, wow, you're full of shit. I
I love that. But
remember the
yeah.
therapist asking me to write, and I genuinely, trust me, I thought she was batshit crazy at first.
Mm.
She asked me to write a love letter and a hate letter to the ED, and I was like, you couldn't pay me to do that. And it took me about 3 weeks, but I did it
Really?
eventually. And I realized this doesn't align with my values. This doesn't align with who I am as a person.
Like
This
your
is
own
not,
morals.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is not what I want for myself. This wasn't what I thought it was going to be like. I thought I was taking control, but I'm
It was
doing the
it
opposite.
was controlling you.
I'm sacrificing everything. I'm losing trust from everybody around me. I don't even trust myself anymore.
Yeah.
I'm paranoid constantly, whether that's people putting things in my food, trying to give me more calories, or, it was just an absolute whirlwind to the point I became agoraphobic because everything triggered me. And I I was just paranoid. I got to a point where I didn't want to go in the shower because I thought that shampoo had calories that could absorb through my
Through your
skin.
skin.
I didn't want to brush my teeth because of toothpaste. I didn't want to lick envelopes. Like it gets to that
Yeah.
point and it's soul destroying. It's absolutely soul destroying.
Which letter did you find the hardest? The love letter or the hate letter?
I think I had to dig deep for the hate letter and I had to get Fiona out of my head for the love letter because I thought, my God, she's going to read that and she's going
Yeah.
to be like,
Because it's easier to love something that's controlling you than actually admit
well,
to the fact that actually you don't love it at all.
I think that creating the way I had to write a letter, I created an identity
Mm.
for the ED and it was a separate entity to me at that point. And it made it easier to argue with it, to say, these disordered narratives are not my
Yeah.
beliefs. They are an illness.
You talk about it like it's a third person. Do you,
That's how I feel.
yeah. And I don't now, but I used to. It would be like, I don't know, it was like a parent. It was like a complete, it would control my whole day. So it's like, oh, what do they want me to do today? Now
Yeah.
I talk about it, and like I said at the beginning, it's as if I'm talking about someone else. I'm that far removed from it. Do you feel removed from it?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I think the whole third person thing, I think that with complex mental illness, you're, you lose your identity within it. And part of the recovery process is so hard because you forget who you are without the illness.
Mm,
And it's like, okay, but what would I do if this wasn't, especially with eating disorders, because food is
life.
every day, it's constant.
Yeah.
And when that's not your literal routine anymore, you do lose yourself within it. And learning who you are outside of all of that is completely imperative in recovery. There's so many things that are so essential for full recovery,
Yeah.
and that is most definitely one of them.
What, like removing the third person, you mean?
No, I think you can't tell anybody how they should recover because it's going to be different for
Different for
everybody.
everyone. Yeah.
But I do think that creating this separate identity for the ED, some people give it like random names and
Yeah.
things like that. Some people find that to be romanticizing it. I guess it just depends on your approach. But for me, I would move through my day, trying to choose food, picking things up, and I'd say out loud, shut up, shut up. And my mum was like, who are you talking to? And I was like, literally the eating disorder. Like,
Yeah.
I have to just argue with it because I have to remind myself I'm doing nothing wrong. I'm not putting myself in a dangerous position, and it
No.
would be the aftermath. And then challenge myself, and afterwards, I would be laying on my bed like someone was performing an
Oh,
exorcism
I
on
know.
me, trying to saying to myself, don't compensate, don't do it. You have to show yourself that this is okay. Not, it's not okay as long as I compensate by doing X,
Yeah.
Y, Z. It's just okay, and that's it. And sitting through that, it was hell for the first few months. I'd literally spiraled. I'd be laid on my bed with my hands over my face, trying to breathe, playing music, anything I could possibly do, genuinely as if I was in excruciating pain.
Can you are you happy to talk about family?
We'll see where that goes, but
Okay.
yeah,
I found it really difficult that family wanted to help. Like them trying to help made it feel, if I'm honest, even worse because it was another element of control. That was, again, we'll keep reiterating, that was my own personal experience. I knew deep in my core that it was something that I wouldn't even take medication because I just had this overwhelming fear that if I didn't do it naturally and the way I wanted to, I wouldn't accomplish it. Does that make
yeah,
sense?
perfect answer.
Which was very difficult for people around me who wanted to help, obviously, and I'm sure, especially your mum, would have struggled with that.
Massively.
How was your relationship when you were going through all of that? Because
Mine,
you're super
my,
close.
mine and my mum's relationship, my mental health, frankly, tore us apart
Yeah.
and also brought us closer than ever. When I first started struggling, I had just turned 14 and she was discovering things through school.
Mm.
They were saying, your daughter is hurting herself and she has a plan to end her life. And my mum was like, whoa,
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was anything going on, and you're telling me my daughter is about to
Kill
be
herself.
gone
Yeah.
forever. Like,
Yeah.
that's insane. And I think when the ED developed, which it was kind of, there was a massive lead up to that because I massively struggled with disordered thoughts
Mhm.
and body dysmorphia from being a kid. So it wasn't something completely new, but equally, I think she was a bit more well versed in terms of mental health. And if I said, look, that is not helpful, then she would listen. But she also learned that sometimes the eating disorder was talking.
Yeah.
She would be colluding with the ED by making me something different to what everyone else was having, or letting me buy low calorie, low fat things, or letting me eat things she knows I wouldn't touch with a barge pole otherwise. And there were times when, she didn't want to distress me completely. So if it was like a social event, and I said, look, Mum, I just want to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And in order to enjoy it, I need you to just sort of
Back
let me.
off.
And I know it's not ideal, but I need you to just let me be for now. And we kind of came to an understanding. But there were also times when I was in the kitchen, I couldn't be in my, if she was cooking dinner, I was stood over her, like looking
Watching.
what she's putting in it. If she put the tiniest bit too much oil in or too much butter on my bread, I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like screaming, crying, so petrified that it was projected on her as anger. And for her, it was almost worse than when I was
Ill.
chronically
Yeah.
depressed because she was like, the one thing you're refusing to let me do is literally keep you alive. You have to eat. I'm not going to let you not eat, Jess. Like,
Oh,
there's just
just
no
changed to
way we
Mac
can do
Bro
it.
Pro.
Huh?
2 secs, Jess. Talk. No.
Uh,
It said come up on the top. It said your microphone has changed to Mac Bro Mac.
yeah, that's mine.
It's yours.
Oh, that's fine.
Speak.
Hello.
There we go. We're back. This is what this we don't. We're not going to edit any of this. It's fine. It's just fucking technology, isn't it? I get what you're saying. It's really hard. I'm a mum myself now, obviously,
Yeah.
and I can't tell you how much your experience is going to shape you as a parent. If you ever wanted to become a parent or in a caring role, it will. Well, one, you'll be on high alert, whether for any kind of mental health issue or you food, exercise, whatever, you just will be on high alert. So from seeing it from my mum's perspective now, because mine carried through parenting, so I was unwell after I had my son as well. But thinking about what my mum went through when I was unwell, because I was brought up by a single parent too, I was a twat, like an absolute twat. But it wasn't me. It was
No.
the eating
The illness.
disorder. And it does affect your relationship, and it's really difficult because as a mum, as any parent, grandparent, or any relationship really, you just want to fix what's broken. But I didn't feel broken, so I didn't want to be
Yeah.
fixed
Yeah.
until you realise you're broken, and then you want to fix yourself. So it's such a fucking vicious circle. What? At what point, like you said earlier, that it made your relationship stronger? When did you get to that point?
I think it began pre-ED.
Really?
Yeah. Um, because I didn't know. I was, first of all, a child.
Yeah.
I didn't see it that way at the time, but I was a child. 14, I mean, I was a baby.
Mm,
And I mean, it's, that's a whole different kettle of fish.
yeah.
But my mum begged to know what was going on.
Yeah. So fucking irritating.
I wanted to punch her.
Yeah. It's awful.
And I didn't know. I
Mm,
was like, I have no idea what's going on with myself. How do you think it feels for me? And I think she wears her heart on her sleeve big time. Mum, if you're listening, I'm so sorry, but it's true.
that's not a negative for her.
Here's what I'm about to say.
Okay.
Um, and it would be very much like, do you not see what you're doing to me? Do you not see how much you're making me worry? And I was like, well, then I won't tell you.
Yeah.
When I said to her, look, you're too close to this. I need help from professionals, people who are separate.
Removed.
Yet it destroys me even to know that's what's going on inside because I know now.
Yeah.
Even if you stop telling me, I now know how
You feel.
it makes me despair. And obviously, as a single parent, it's inexplicable.
It is
Do you
about them. They can't not make it about them because they're on their
know?
own in
Of
it.
course, 100%. And I think she wasn't, she was thrown in at the deep end. It wasn't as if she had time to figure out
Mm,
how to manage all of that. It was quite literally, your daughter's life is at risk. Do what you will.
yeah.
Um, but once I explained to her that she respectfully has to manage her own feelings elsewhere,
Yeah.
that was a turning point. She stopped asking to know things because I said to her, Mum, you don't want to know.
Yeah. It's a neat. It's curiosity killed the cat, isn't it? Is
Yeah, I
syndrome.
said, you
Yeah.
don't, honestly, you don't want to know the depths of my thoughts. And there were times she found notes and things, and she picked me up from school and took me to emergency appointments. And I was like, Gilly Pop, I wrote that about 3 weeks ago. I'm good, honestly.
Yeah.
But, you know, yeah, it was a case of boundaries and sort of saying, this is how you protect me. I know that you want to fix and you want to get in there and you want to do something. There's just not always something you can do. You're not a mental health professional. You're not always going to say the right things. Sometimes it's better to say nothing
Yeah.
and leave it to the professionals. And if I need you, if I'm unsafe, I'll let you know. You'll find out. And yeah, that was, I think, with the ED, it was probably when I realised that I wanted to
Not,
recover,
yeah, you didn't want it anymore.
that I could see that everything I resented her for during that time, she was trying to protect me and she wanted the best for me. And we then started to, it was such teamwork because we would go food shopping together and she'd sit with me through meal times and I'd say, look, I'm doing this today and it feels like quite a big deal. Um, and she'd just give me, she wouldn't make it into a huge thing because then it's like praising me for eating and
Oh
that
God,
just
no.
reinforces
Yeah,
everything.
that's
But
silly.
she'd just look at me like, good for you. Um, yeah, because when people made it into a huge thing, I was like, so it is a big deal.
Yeah,
Um, but then it's also if somebody doesn't acknowledge it at all, it's like, do you not see how hard I'm trying?
yeah.
Um,
You
so yeah, it
become
was
you become. I mean, you can't help it because it's part of the illness. You become very selfish, and it is,
I'm very
yeah,
manipulative.
very selfish, very manipulative. We are as women anyway. That's another podcast. And I say that all the time, and I can say it with grace because we get away with murder. Men don't stand a chance. Fact. Um, yeah, very manipulative, very secretive, very woe is me. There's nothing worse than victim mentality. And I've only just started realizing that 2 years ago, and I'm 49. And I think everyone's comfortable being a victim when actually you're just a victim to your own thoughts.
I agree. However,
Yeah.
everybody's issue with me is that I was the opposite.
Which is what?
I it was I guess it can come across that way, but I truly believed I deserved everything that had coming to me. I was like, with all of which I'm not gonna be able to get into, but I went through a hell of a lot of trauma
Mm,
that made me feel completely worthless
yeah.
and like I didn't deserve to be alive. So I was like, how, why would I recover? I don't want that. I don't want
Yeah.
to do something that is ultimately being kind. I don't deserve that. And everybody trying to help me to see that this isn't even to do with my worth, that I do deserve to recover,
Yeah.
but also it's less than the bare minimum to be able to literally survive like a normal human being. People who have committed heinous crimes have access to food. So why,
Why are you
if that's how you
eliminating
perceive
that?
yourself, then it's still not justification.
Are you
And
a big thanks to our sponsor, In Home Flooring. Elevate your home with their beautiful stair runners. Don't forget to mention Mother of All Podcasts. You'll get 10% off at your home visit. For more info, go to www.inhomeflooring.co.uk. Are you comfortable receiving compliments? Or are you better at it now, I should
I'm
say?
actually, I'm getting really emotional because
Aww. Are you okay to carry on?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's just, I just never thought I'd be in the place that I'm in now.
You're so brave. You sound like a 90-year-old woman. Like the emotional intelligence that you've got. Can you just tell everyone how old you are, by the way?
I'm 21.
21. The emotional intelligence that you've got to be able to come on and talk so knowledgeably, actually. It's not just like, oh, I recovered. Thanks. It's you talk about it so openly, freely, and from a place of you genuinely believe you have recovered, which is I don't know if you realize how very rare that is. And yes,
In
you've
terms
had an
of full
amazing therapist.
recovery.
Yeah. And yes, you had an amazing therapist and your mum was amazing, but it's got to come from within. Um, so you did it with help, definitely. Like, give yourself grace. It was fucking brutal. Like, you did it. So that's why I asked about accepting compliments. I hate them. If someone tells me I look nice, I actually get angry. If someone's like, "Oh my God," well, so, a lady who I looked after sent me a voice note this morning saying, "I can't, you wouldn't believe what an impact you've had on us as parents," and I'm like, "Oh God, don't! I just don't like any of that." And it's because you feel like you're not worthy.
I think so. Yeah, my therapist, she helped me to see myself so much more clearly, and it was
Mm,
almost as if she held up a mirror that wasn't distorted, and I couldn't believe it. But even the fact that she saw those things in me, that she could tell me who I am,
yeah.
was transformational. And
Do you miss her?
hmm,
Do you miss her?
she's my friend now.
Oh, there we go.
She's still in my life. Yeah, we were like honestly the bond that we formed. She was going nowhere. Even if
Same.
she wanted to, I was like, Gilly Pop, I will
Yeah.
show up at your house. No, I'm joking. I would never actually do that. Just kidding. Um,
Same as my therapist. I actually, yeah, 4 sessions, by the way. That's all I had. She was amazing, but absolute genius of a woman, and you just can't imagine them not being in your life. And some people are like, "Oh, you shouldn't carry on having relationships with your clients and things like that." I'm like, "Well, who says that? What fucking
I
Freudian
think it
book
just
is
depends
that
on the
in?"
person.
Exactly.
Like, if, like, respectfully, there's some kind of limerence with some clients, and they put their therapist on a pedestal, and it gets a bit weird. But so it is, it depends.
It's a fine line. It's about having boundaries, isn't it?
Yeah, but yeah, she was my therapist for 3 years, and she left. So she went on sabbatical leave earlier
Mm-hmm.
this year, and I came back from Christmas because she's a parent, so she always took any school holidays
Yeah.
off. Came back our first session, she was like, I need to tell you something. Bearing in mind I have severe abandonment issues, let's
Mm.
just make that one clear. And I was like, you're pregnant. She's like, no, Jess. I was like, oh, what was I can't remember the other thing. I was like, oh, you're dying. Grief brain.
Obviously,
She was
yeah.
like, no. And I was like, oh, you're leaving, laughing, thinking. And she was like, yeah. I
Well,
beg your finest pardon. I was like,
oh, I bet you thought your whole world had ended. Did that trigger you, actually?
I threw up
Yeah.
because I was like, great, you hate me. That's good to know. You're leaving me forever. I'm never going to see you again. I haven't even fully recovered yet. Are you for real? But my abandonment issues were intense already,
Yeah.
but then grief made it like a whole extra thing because it wasn't just in terms of losing someone emotionally,
Yeah.
they're still alive, but losing somebody completely, it was like great. So now I have double the worry. So if
Yeah.
they're not going to leave me because they hate me, they could just die, and that's also pretty bad. Um, but yeah, I can't actually remember what the question was. I've completely gone off on a
Well, I
tangent.
asked if you missed her and she's still in your life, so there.
There you go.
What
Um,
this I'm fascinated by it.
Sorry,
This
go on.
like where you said that you do believe that you can fully recover. When did you get that light bulb moment? Had you fully recovered yourself by then, or was this like halfway through your therapy?
I still don't. I wouldn't consider myself to be fully recovered yet.
Yeah.
So I think that I would say now that the eating disorder is an extremely small part of my life,
Mm-hmm.
but if my definition of full recovery is
It's not any part of your life.
no,
Yeah.
and it's still there's sometimes background noise, and I don't want that.
Yeah. It's
I think
exhausting.
that it's I think the neural pathways are weak,
Mm.
very weak, but they're not eradicated yet. And I think if I keep pushing the way I'm going, then I think it's very possible for them to be completely eradicated. Um, but I don't think it was a light bulb moment necessarily. It was learning about
Yeah.
neuroplasticity, and that to me was like mind blowing. And it was kind of a gradual figuring it out.
Yeah.
It was like how I figured out Santa wasn't real, which was a lot
That's
worse.
not true,
But
by the way.
it was like a pardon?
That's not true. Santa is real.
Sorry, yeah, my bad. Very real.
We can believe in what we want to believe, but he's very much a big part of my life.
I'm sorry for crushing your dreams
Thank
momentarily.
you.
I
Carry on.
can't. Will you think forget what I was saying?
That's
I'm
your that's your
ADHD.
inner good girl syndrome. Like, oh shit, I've just pissed Cat off. I'm still a coach to you. I'm not, Liv. We're just chatting about our experiences. You were
Um,
talking about neuro. Yes,
neuroplasticity.
and
Yeah.
how it
Oh
was
yeah,
a
it was like a
gradual. It was a
gradual
gradual.
kind
Yeah.
of like, oh well, if that's the case, then this must be the
Mm,
case. And Fiona from the start was like, I believe full recovery is real. She
brilliant.
recovered from anorexia herself.
Yeah,
So I was like, that's
that's your
pretty good
goal.
evidence.
Yeah,
Hmm?
that's your goal.
Yeah. And
That's why I'm so fascinated because most people's goals, and you probably heard this yourself, is to learn to live with it.
yeah,
And you don't even want it to be part of your life.
God no.
Oh, you're defo gonna get there. Like I can,
Is that my biggest fear and motivator is ever being where I was. That absolutely terrifies me. Um,
because so if you look at yourself in the mirror now, are you? If you're not comfortable talking about this, mind, just tell me. Do you? How do you feel about yourself?
so my body image is absolute dog shite.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm much better at not having a bad body image day and blaming my body
Mhm.
and being like, okay, well, that means I need to do this. And I'm able to say, okay, why do I feel uncomfortable and overstimulated? Is it that I'm too hot? Is it that I'm emotionally overwhelmed?
Yeah.
Is it that my clothes are too tight? And yeah, it's that's still a process for me in terms of body image. But that's kind of rooted elsewhere. It's not directly related to the ED.
That's the
I think
misconception. That's what we were talking about. That's the misconception. That's what we were talking
yeah,
about at the beginning, that everyone thinks it's because, and it can be for some, it's you just don't like the way that you look, but it's good, it's interesting that you're able to separate the two
yeah,
already and be like, I don't think it's that's to do with my ED. I think every single person in the world has an element of body dysmorphia. Um, do you agree with that?
no, but I also can't fathom how their brain works.
If they don't, I actually, do you know what? I've got a friend. I remember going on holiday with her, and oh, she's a phenomenal woman. She's size 16. I've never met anyone, which is fine. I've never met anyone so confident, and I was anorexic at the time, and I remember thinking I would do anything to feel, not look, but feel the way that she felt, and
Yeah,
so I take back what I said. I genuinely don't think she's got body dysmorphia. She'll be
no.
watching this, so she'll tell me if she does.
Um, I think it was, yeah, I think there's a lot of people who are liberated in their bodies. And it was kind of realizing that my body isn't the problem.
Mm,
And it's my perception of it. The very fact that my body image, how I feel about my body can change so drastically day to day when my body hasn't changed at all.
yeah,
It just showed that it's a cognitive distortion,
yeah.
an issue with my body. Um,
If so, you're 21. If you, so there's parents are going to be watching this. If they thought that, if they had any kind of inclination that their kids may be struggling with an eating disorder, and there are so many of them, by the way, there's not just anorexia and bulimia, but any kind of eat or disordered eating, like I know what I would say because I'm coming from a different background to you and a different journey, but if they were like, oh, Jess, I've seen that you're in recovery and you're doing so well. I think my daughter or my son is blah, blah, blah. What would you say to a parent? Like, what would you, because we both know what we wanted from our parents.
So, first of all, get stereotypes out of your head.
Mm-hmm.
This criteria has been built through diet culture, and that I feel like society needs
A label.
explanation
Yeah.
and criteria and an image. What you need to remember is that it is a mental illness, and regardless of the eating disorder, if it's a restrictive eating disorder, so ARFID, anorexia, bulimia, any weight loss, physical health issues, they are side effects. They're not
Mm-hmm.
symptoms of the illness, they're side effects, they're not inevitable. So don't try to measure the severity of your child's illness by their health.
Their physical
But
health.
yeah,
Yeah.
as in their physical health,
Yeah.
yeah. Because that is where it all goes wrong. Um, it's no measure of the internal battle, and I would never want parents to think, oh, it's not that serious because they haven't lost X amount of weight or their BMI is fine or, they're not deficient or whatever. They are still, their life is on the line
Mm-hmm.
regardless, whether that's in terms of their mental health and suicidal ideation, but also any form of restriction is malnourishment and that is life threatening.
That's
But
amazing.
also to approach with so much compassion and to be open minded and just say, don't sort of confront them and be like, you've got an issue, we're going to therapy,
That was my mum.
because that feels like a threat. It needs to be more, I feel like you're struggling, I've noticed these patterns and I just wondered if you'd like to talk about it. There's no judgment, you're not in trouble. I just want to be able to
I want
help.
to help.
And I think that gentle approach, because the ED freaks out if it feels like it's been caught out
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, oh, got no idea what you mean. I'm completely fine.
Well, it's your favourite secret, isn't it? Yes, that is
It
literally
thrives
it.
in secrecy.
Yeah, absolutely. It grows in secrecy. Oh yeah, yeah, that's spot on. What's in the future for you, Jess?
That's a big question.
I know.
I don't know what's in this. Like,
What do you want? What do you want it to look like?
I think the route I would go down is most definitely mental health in terms of
100%. You definitely
career.
should.
I think it's something that I'm still debating how I want to approach that because I don't think I have the emotional capacity to be a therapist. I will go home sobbing every night. And I wish that wasn't the case. And I think it's possible for me to learn how to not internalize everybody else's pain.
Mm.
But I also think it's kind of an intrinsic thing. I've been like it since I was tiny.
It's called being an empath. I'm one, and Kellen is actually. It's
Yeah,
exhausting. You can read a
it's
room.
hyper empathy.
Yeah,
I carry
it's
everything.
horrible.
I see somebody in the street and I think that they've got sad eyes. I'll carry that with me for the rest of the day. I want to go up
Mm.
to them and give them a hug. I can't tolerate it, and you know, yeah, it's horrendous. And I'm also able to detach when I speak about EDs if someone's, because I have friends who are unwell,
Mm.
and I'm really able to detach, but it's the roots, and it can be rooted in trauma and things like that. And I'm less able to detach from those things. So I think it's my own healing that has to come first, obviously.
Absolutely.
But otherwise, advocacy. I do so much writing and I absolutely love it. And, it's less lucrative, but that's not, I want to do something that I love and, you know, it's its own payment, it's rewarding.
I think if you go down the path of doing something you love, you get rewarded eventually, which is, I think money's not everything, but unfortunately, well, it doesn't make the world go round,
Sorry.
but you can't do a lot without it, sadly. And people's relationship with money can just affect so much of your life. So, yeah, going down a route of advocacy that's less lucrative is probably the best thing for you, um, than getting yourself caught up in something that's massive. What does like your ED in a day? Like where's your ED now today? We're sat here talking.
Africa? I
Brilliant.
mean,
I love it. That's
not
fab.
sure.
It's not sat on your
Um,
shoulder. That's the goal, isn't it?
hmm?
It's not sat on your shoulder.
um, yeah, it's so far away
Yeah.
and I love it here. It's great. It's
Oh.
so peaceful. And yeah, it just constantly reminds me. I never take it for granted
Mm,
because I will never forget the weight I carried. That was a very poor
yeah.
choice of words. Um, but I will never forget being told, and this isn't again a measure of how severe things were. It never is going to be. It's very, you know, unique to me.
Yes.
Being told that I could have died
Mm,
when I was rushed into hospital and I was told that I could have died, I was like, so this is kind of serious. Like, what I'm doing isn't a game. It isn't anything. This isn't what I thought it was. And as it happens, I don't want to die.
yeah.
Um,
So many people do though.
well, yeah, but I think it was also the fact that it wasn't by my own hands.
Mm,
I wasn't in control of that.
yeah.
It was, that wasn't my plan for the day. It was 1 minute I was in bed, the next minute I was
In
in
hospital.
A&E being told that minutes later and it could have been fatal. So, and I was like, I had no control in any of that.
My friend Alex come on to talk about being in recovery as an alcoholic. Actually, um, watch that one because he actually, I say, do you still call yourself an alcoholic? And he said yes, and I'm 100% happy to. So it's a completely different perspective to what you're saying.
Mm.
Um, but he said you can't, you have to go through a journey to come out the other end,
Yeah.
and that's what happened to you. Um, 3 questions. I've already sent them to you.
Yeah.
The first one.
Hang on.
That's
Let me
all
get my
right.
phone. I take notes.
Oh, bless. When I say
Look at
three
my
questions,
mapper. Once I get going.
when I say 3 questions, you know it's coming to the end, so you can take a breather. First question: what is the one defining a defining moment in your life that you're happy to share?
Yeah. There's
Come
so
on.
many, and
Yeah,
it's
I know.
ridiculous that I'm saying that. I'm literally 21 years old. Like, how are you telling me that? I literally have a list. Um, I think, relate it back to self-esteem and healing. It goes without saying that meeting Fiona was a huge part of that.
Yeah.
She's the most enlightened soul. Um, However, meeting my girlfriend has I'm literally gonna cry. Oh my God. She
Oh,
is my sunshine. And she's unlike anyone I've ever known. Um, because I've always felt too much of everything. And it's not that she sees me completely in
yeah.
everything that I am, all of the complexity, all of the pain. And it's not that she loves me in spite of that.
She loves you
She
because
loves
of
me,
it.
yeah. And I have all of these expansive ideas and so much depth. And she doesn't just listen, she digs to the core of the earth with me. And
Oh,
it's just the most magical. She is able to transform every detail, whether it's about me, life, or love, into poetry. And it just makes every moment more special. And it's helped me to fall in love with being alive. And it's also really helping me every single day to appreciate myself more. And she manages to touch parts of me and heal parts of me that I didn't even realize needed healing. So that has been an extremely defining moment. And the way that she came into my life and the way that she makes me feel, I am not woo woo. However,
I am.
it seems so aligned with my nanan.
I was just gonna say, is this? She's come from someone's centre to you.
Yeah, and I don't think it was like um to be a replacement because that would be dead weird.
Yeah.
Let's be for real. But but almost like a handoff and a
Yeah.
continuation because the love that me and my nan shared, it can't go anywhere. It has to find a new way to
Yeah.
reach you. And that's what I've found in her. And I'm immeasurably grateful. Yeah, I'm still processing the whole thing.
That is so beautiful. You're 21 and you found that already. She sounds like a keeper. What would you go back and tell you're only 21 and everyone would be like, oh, what do you know? But you've lived a life. And I don't believe in like, oh, you don't know anything because you're only this. Like, I think kids teach us way more than we teach them. What would you go back and tell your younger self if you had an opportunity to?
Take it moment by moment. It
Interestingly, my
sounds,
last guest earlier said, don't rush.
I think I would say you don't have to carry so much. You have some really, really big feelings and see the world in a very unique way. And it's not because you're broken. And it feels like so much because you haven't been here long enough to learn how to deal
Mm,
with having such big feelings. But to live according to what you know to be true in this moment. Are your family safe now? Are they alive now? Yes, okay, move forward with your day. Don't make everything yours to carry, is what I think I would say.
wow. Are you sure you're only 21? And then my last question, a book, a quote, a song, a film, something that you think someone should read or listen to at least once in their life, and why?
That's so hard. I think there's a song called Full Recovery, which was like my absolute anthem.
Mm.
And that's so cliche and sort of a half-assed response, but it's a really brilliant anthem, and that's my sort of lightest answer.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything. It, art's way too subjective. I hate suggesting things because I'm like, it'll deeply hurt me if you go
Don't
listen
like
to that
it.
or watch this and you're like, well, that's a load of shit. I
Yeah.
don't want to know. Uh, so,
Who sings it?
good question. Curtis Walsh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Curtis Walsh, Full Recovery. Is there anything else you want to add? I've loved this, by the way.
I love this. Any excuse to yap, I'm on it.
That's brilliant. Anything else you want to add? Anything insightful?
Trust the process.
Love it.
Trust the process. Even when it feels completely insurmountable and like there's just no way it could ever improve or get better, just trust the process. Feel the fear and do it anyway. And trust the process.
You're a wise young lady. I think you've 100% been here before.
Everyone says this.
I don't know what life this is. I think it's your fourth. I've loved having you on. I definitely would love to catch up again on. I'm sure there's loads of subjects we could talk about. You've been an absolute dream. Thank you so much. And we'll speak soon.